We will begin shortly. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to start. Hi, everyone. I'm Martina. I am the co-lead this year of CVC, or the Columbia Venture Competition, the Undergraduate Challenge. My co-lead, Carrie, couldn't make it today, but I will try to answer all of the questions that you have at the end of this presentation. And hopefully you get to learn more about what the competition entails. So about CVC. CVC, or the Columbia Venture Competition, is the competition that CORE, or Columbia Organization of Rising Entrepreneurs, hosts, specifically the Undergraduate Challenge. Last year, the top 5 teams split a cash prize of $35,000. This competition is open to all Columbia undergrads who are from Columbia College, Columbia Engineering, General Studies, and Barnard College. Last year, our top 3 teams are shown here and listed. Ocular Diagnoses was an AI-based web software that diagnosed ADHD. Ours was an app that helped college students find other students who wanted to do the same things as them. And Chaser empowered date rape drug victims by giving them a voice through anonymous reporting. So clearly, as you can see, a lot of various different teams with different ideas can join and can benefit from the experience. So expectations. Our expectations are that you're eligible for the competition, which means that the blended teams must have at least one undergraduate Columbia student, founder, or main member within the competition that plays a significant role within the company. Our emphasis this year is on the business model canvas, which I'll show you more about later, so that we can see and capture what you have learned from your customers and see your growth over the course of the competition. The pitch sessions that we'll have 6 teams per pitch session. So in the first round, we plan to have 4 pitch sessions, with each round having 3 judges. You'll have 5 minutes to pitch, and there will be 7 minutes of question and answer. If judges ask you questions that you think are quite obvious, that means that there are some communication errors that you should look into, or if they're asking you questions that if you ask questions multiple times, it means that this should be something that you should work on. So what has changed? So this competition has changed slightly from last year. This year, we have opened it to everyone. So you can apply with either an idea, or if you're a seed, early stage, or even a pre-scaling, at the pre-scaling stage. We accept startups at any stage. This year, teams need to pitch every round. So we had the preliminary round happen this past fall, and the top 4 teams from that round have passed on and skipped the first round and will be heading on to the second round. In round 1 and 2 that are happening this semester, they will be happening online on Zoom. And then for round 3, we prospectively have it at the Columbia Design Studio in the church, Riverside Church. This year, we also want to focus on self-growth. So we want to see the growth that you've had through each round that you've made through customer discovery, and see the changes that you've made through your business model canvas. So how can we help? Our role is to do the organization and logistics of the competition. So we provide you with the rubric, the logistics, the timeline, and answer any questions that you might have. We also try to link you with the judges that you've had, or with people that we think will be able to help you in your journey. We are also able to provide workshops, which we plan on hosting many this semester, including pitching, customer discovery, market research, and more. We provide you with the opportunity to also attend Columbia entrepreneurship workshops so that you can gain insight into the judging criteria and learn more about what is expected of a CVC participant. We plan on hosting some social events like team mixers after the final round that are hosted with Columbia Entrepreneurship. And we want to make CVC more valuable for you by providing you with the feedback that the judges have provided you, no matter what round you reach. So now let me show you an idea of what the timeline will look like. So as you can see, we're currently at the applications for round 1, which have opened already. The teams who won in the preliminary round have been able to skip round 1 and go directly to round 2, which will happen on March 25th. If you apply for round 1, it closes on February 21st at midnight. But before then, we plan to host multiple workshops like that for pitching, which Columbia Entrepreneurship is hosting, I think is being held on February 7th. If you want more information, I will be sending that out. Customer discovery, which we plan on hosting next Friday at the same time. Business model canvas, market research and sizing, fundraising, and other events that we will obviously update you on. After applications close for round 1, we plan on announcing the decisions shortly afterwards based on eligibility and quality, and you should be ready to pitch for the first round on March 3 to 4. Then after that, we cut down the teams again based on the criteria, which I will show you later. And then those teams that are accepted will go into round 2 with those who have passed and the preliminary round as well. After that, we go to round 3, that is planned to be held on April 8th. And then the winner of round 3, or the final round, will go to the Tournament of Champions, which is the competition that is held for the winners of each of the CVC challenges that are held. So this is the rubric. Feel free to take a picture, but we also send this to the teams that are accepted so that they get familiar with it. The emphasis of this year's undergraduate challenge is on customer discovery and market research, gleaning unique customer insights and incorporating those insights into your products or services. If you're new to entrepreneurship or have already have several exits under your belt, we still encourage you to enter the undergraduate challenge. Whether you already have an MVP or are just at the ideation stage, the main focus is on growth, learning, and providing customer testimonials that prove your solution will be accepted by the market. Don't tell us what you hope will happen. You have to show us. Demonstrate how you adapt to customer feedback and what you will actively do to reach product market fit. And this is the split up of the rubric for the first round, which is the same as what we had in the preliminary round. This is what the business model canvas looks like, which counts for 10% of the judging criteria. This is judged by CVC and the team. This is an example of what the business model canvas will look like. But again, if you're accepted, we will also send you a template that you can fill out and that we plan to have you submit to us after every round so that we can see the changes that you've made over the course of the competition. That's actually all of the slides that I have for today's info session. Here are the QR codes for the application that you can have, the customer discovery workshop that we plan to have next week, and the socials that we have as well. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I've also recorded this info session. So in case you came late, I will be submitting this to, yeah. So someone asked in the chat, can we get access to the deck? So I have recorded this Zoom session and we'll be sending it to Chris McGarry, or the head of Columbia Entrepreneurship. So hopefully he'll be able to put this up somewhere. And if so, I will share this with the attendance of this as well. How will we know when the other workshops will be held? We will be updating you as soon as we have the timeline of that as well, because so far we have been just planning on these workshops happening, but once the timeline is out or the registration, the Eventbrite, we will be sharing those on our socials as well. Can we apply to both the CVC undergrad and Brown Institute competition? I'm not sure what the Brown Institute competition is, but if you apply, this actually leads on to another thing. So there are multiple challenges for CVC, and if you are eligible for multiple of them, I think you are allowed to apply to two if you would like. Can alumni participate in this competition? So the caveat is that we need someone on the team to be an undergraduate student at Columbia. So someone on the team, if there are alumni on the team, there has to be someone else that is an undergraduate for you to be eligible for the undergrad competition. But if you're an alumni, yeah, we need someone to be an undergrad. That's the main caveat of the undergraduate challenge.
I was wondering, can you apply as a team member for two different teams at the beginning, and depending on how the round goes, you can drop or like maybe drop from one of the teams.
Oh, interesting. I will encourage you to apply to both teams. We will, of course, be looking at all of the applications more closely once we see them. So I think that is possible, but of course, there will be some deliberation. Of course, if you're on multiple teams, that might have an impact on which of the teams gets in. But I believe that will be fine, but I will get back to you on that after the applications, of course. Someone asked in the chat, for blended teams with foreign team members, do all members need to be present for the pitch session? Okay. So no, not all the team members have to be present, but we would like the Columbia undergrad student to be part of the pitch at least, so that they're able to answer the questions, because obviously this is what this challenge of the CVC is aiming towards. Yeah. But there's no problem if there are other team members who are out of the country. That's fine, as long as someone is a Columbia undergrad. So yeah, there were a few people that showed up a little late to the Zoom, but again, I have recorded this Zoom meeting, and I can quickly go over the slides if anyone has any specific questions. We went through the timeline, what is expected of you, the workshops that we plan on holding, that we will share more information about once they have been fully ideated, and the rubric as well. So if anyone wants to see any of the slides, please feel free to. The slides have been recorded, and we will be either sharing this with all of you, I'll send an email out, or I'll be sending this to Chris McGarry, who's the head of Columbia Entrepreneurship, and I believe he will be putting this up on the website somewhere, and we can share that as well. Okay, if those are all the questions, thank you for coming. If you have any more, feel free to email us at cuventurecompetition@gmail.com. You can see here. Please sign up for the customer discovery workshop next week. It'll be very helpful, especially if you plan to apply, because it's one of the main things that we're looking at. And of course, apply to CVC. Are alum allowed to enter the competition? Okay, so I said this earlier, but the main point of the undergraduate challenge is that someone on the team is part of the Columbia undergraduate community. Whether or not that's all of them, that's fine. We just need one main member, and they have to be a Columbia undergrad. How many people can be in a team? I think the application has a limit to how many team members you can put in, but if there's more than that, then there's no problem. It just has to be like the main founders or main members of the startup that are like the most important to us. Yeah. Are there no other questions? I went through the slides quite quickly, so please feel free to ask if you want to see a slide again or whatever. Do the undergrads need to be involved in giving the pitch, or can they just also help answer questions from the judges? As long as they're there, I think it will be fine. If they're there to answer questions from the judges, that will help us. That is also important, but I think we would prefer that the undergrads are like a main part of the competition, a main part of the startup. That's what we're looking at. So as long as you can provide that in your application and we can tell that you are a main part of it, then that is what we're looking for. But we do focus on that. So yeah. Can we participate if we've already made an MVP? Yes. So let me just go back through the slides because I think that will help. Yes, this year we have changed it so that it's open to everyone. So whether you only have an idea or you already have an MVP, we encourage you to apply because our focus this year is specifically on growth and how you change throughout customer discovery and through the feedback that the judges give you every round. So that is more of the focus this year rather than the end product, if that makes sense. So yeah, we encourage everyone to apply. Yeah, so thank you everyone for coming. If there are no other questions, I think we can end it here. If you want to look at some slides again, then we will be sharing these slides with you again afterwards. And yeah, please feel free to reach out to the email if you have any questions. And we hope to see you at our next workshops and see your application soon. Yeah, thank you.